You're driving down the highway on a scorching afternoon. The AC has been blowing ice-cold air for the last hour, and suddenly it just stops. The air coming out of the vents turns warm. You crank up the fan, flip the temperature dial, try every button on the dash, and nothing changes. 5 minutes later, it starts blowing cold again. Then 10 minutes after that, it does it again. Most people assume the system is low on refrigerant and head straight for a recharge kit. But here's the surprising part. The refrigerant might be perfectly fine, and the compressor might be completely healthy. The real culprit could be a $50 evaporator temperature sensor hidden inside the HVAC housing, behind the dashboard that's sending incorrect information to the computer, and making the entire AC system behave like it's broken. If you want to know how to tell the difference before you waste money on a recharge that won't fix anything, stick around because I'm going to walk you through exactly how to figure this out. Before we get into the diagnostics, if you enjoy learning how to fix your own vehicle, save money on repairs, and understand how your car actually works, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now, let's get started. The first thing you need to understand is how your AC system actually works. Your AC is a sealed loop that compresses refrigerant, lets it expand, and in the process moves heat out of the cabin. The component that actually produces the cold air is the evaporator, which sits inside the dashboard right behind the vents. Refrigerant flows through the evaporator core, absorbs heat from the air being blown over it, and that cooled air is what you feel coming out of the vents. The evaporator is designed to get down to around freezing temperature. If it gets too cold, moisture freezes onto the fins, which plugs up the airflow and ruins cooling. To prevent that, the system has a small temperature sensor on the evaporator core. It measures how cold the core is getting and reports to the climate control module. When the sensor says the evaporator is too close to freezing, the module shuts off the compressor to let it warm up. It is a protection mechanism, and under normal conditions, it works perfectly and you never notice it. So here's the catch. That sensor is just a thermistor, a resistor whose electrical resistance changes with temperature. It lives in a brutal environment. It gets blasted with hot and cold cycles every day, sits in moisture, and vibrates whenever the engine runs. Over years of that abuse, the sensor can drift, develop internal microcracks, or fail outright. The most common failure mode is the sensor reporting the evaporator is way colder than it actually is, reading near freezing even when the core is perfectly warm. The computer trusts that reading and thinks ice is about to form, so it shuts the compressor off. Result? Your AC blows warm air even though the refrigerant charge is full and the compressor is fine. That is why your AC blows cold for a few minutes, then warms up, then comes back. The computer is cycling the compressor on and off based on a false signal. From the driver's seat, that feels exactly like a low refrigerant leak, which is a completely different problem with a completely different fix. How do you tell these two apart? The fastest way is to look at the actual data. If you have a scan tool that reads live climate control data, find the evaporator temperature sensor reading and watch it while the AC runs. A healthy system typically pulls the evaporator temperature down to around 34 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, although the exact range varies slightly depending on the vehicle. If the scan tool consistently reports an evaporator temperature around freezing while the vent air is clearly much warmer, that's a strong indication that something is wrong with the temperature sensing circuit. Verify the reading with a thermometer in the vent or by measuring the evaporator outlet tube with a contact thermometer. If you're using an infrared thermometer, if the scan tool shows around 32 degrees but your independent measurements are 55 degrees or higher, suspect the evaporator temperature sensor, its wiring, or the HVAC control circuit because the reported temperature doesn't match reality. Low refrigerant often follows a recognizable pattern. The AC may cool better at highway speeds than at idle because increased airflow through the condenser helps the system operate more efficiently. However, the exact symptoms depend on how low the refrigerant level is. Mild refrigerant loss may mainly affect cooling at idle, while more severe leaks can reduce cooling performance at all speeds. A faulty evaporator temperature sensor behaves differently. You may notice the compressor shutting off unexpectedly, vent temperatures fluctuating between cold and warm regardless of vehicle speed, or cooling that sometimes returns after restarting the vehicle. That kind of unpredictable behavior often points to an electrical or control issue. If the compressor is cycling unexpectedly, don't assume it's the sensor. Rapid compressor cycling is more commonly caused by refrigerant charge or pressure-related problems, so it's important to verify the system with live scan data and pressure readings before replacing any parts. If you found this useful and you want more straightforward AC and car diagnostics like this, Hit that like button and subscribe. I put out videos like this regularly, and they could save you a lot of money. Here's where things get expensive if you guess wrong. A low refrigerant diagnosis leads to a recharge costing $150 to $250. If the real problem is a sensor, that recharge does nothing. Worse, if a shop assumes the compressor is bad because it is cycling, you could be quoted $400 to $1,200 for a compressor replacement. A faulty evaporator temperature sensor is typically a $50 to $150 part. On many vehicles, it can be accessed by removing the blower motor or glove box, while others require more extensive disassembly of the HVAC housing. Ignoring a faulty evaporator temperature sensor can also lead to additional wear over time. Frequent and unnecessary compressor cycling places extra stress on the compressor clutch, bearings, and electrical components. While it may not damage the compressor immediately, repeated cycling can accelerate wear and shorten the compressor's lifespan, potentially turning a relatively inexpensive sensor repair into a much more costly compressor replacement. Low refrigerant is still the #1 cause of weak AC, so do not rule it out without checking. With low refrigerant, cooling degrades gradually over weeks. With a sensor failure, the cooling is abrupt and erratic. Low refrigerant, cold at speed, warm at idle. Sensor failure fluctuates unpredictably at any speed. The definitive test: put gauges on the system. If refrigerant pressures are normal and the compressor is still cycling like crazy, you are almost certainly looking at a sensor or control problem, not a charge problem. Never let anyone talk you into a compressor replacement based on cycling alone without checking the evaporator sensor reading first. Not every weak AC is a refrigerant or sensor problem. A clogged cabin air filter, a failing condenser fan, or a restricted orifice tube can all make the system blow warm air. The blend door issue is sneaky because the system cools perfectly behind the dash, but the door that mixes hot and cold air is stuck rerouting heat. That is why the diagnostic sequence matters. Check the evaporator sensor data, put gauges on the system, verify the condenser fan is moving air, and confirm the vent air matches what the computer thinks. Work through these steps in order and you will land on the real problem. If your transmission is slipping, jerking, or refusing to shift properly, don't assume you need a complete transmission rebuild. The next video explains the difference between a failing torque converter and a bad transmission solenoid. Two problems that can have very similar symptoms but very different repair costs. Knowing the difference could save your gearbox and potentially save you thousands of dollars. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we publish that video. Thanks for watching, drive safely, and I'll see you in the next one.